So again, I want to welcome everybody to the Team Online call. Today we're going to talk about adding value. What are we really selling? And I think sometimes we get confused by that. And it's really understanding no matter what your business is or what you're quote unquote selling, you always have to have a feel for what value you're bringing to the table. Not you personally, but what are you highlighting to the consumer? What value are you actually talking about? That's something no matter what your business is or what your focus is, you have to remember. And we really, I say no competition. It's great to understand our technology, and it's really, really good to understand that there is quote unquote competition out there, but it's not good to be focused on that. It's for some reason we have people, consumers, that will start talking about what they find online. They'll start arguing what we have against what they're looking at, but it's not a good idea for you to stay focused on that. You see, we have things that nobody else has, and I don't think we talk about them nearly enough. There won't be a test on how our devices are cut above everything else, and you won't be able to talk about plates and voltage to everybody without them glazing over. So that seems to be when we get threatened by people looking out elsewhere, we seem to dig into the technology, and it's a good thing. We're far and above everything else. But you know what? We really have no competition in all the ways that really matter the most to consumers. And so that's what we're going to focus on today, just very briefly. Are we adding the right kind of value to the consumer? There's more and more technology introduced every day, and there's a reason for it. It's a huge market. We're in the midst, in terms of water, we're in a paradigm shift. People are starting to really look at what they can do to have healthy, safe water. People everywhere need to address water, whether it's they have a Flint, Michigan mentality, they want to be sure that it's safe as they can be, or they have health issues, or they've heard about alkaline water. It doesn't really matter. People everywhere need to address water. So that's the good news about doing what we do, is the whole flipping world is a potential for what we have. The environment can't continue to take the burden of plastics. Some people aren't necessarily, they feel like they have good health, they're not really looking at their health, but the environment they care about, so that the environment cannot continue to take the burden of the plastics that we're putting into it. We don't just have a health care crisis, we have a health crisis. And again, it'd be hard-pressed to talk to many people that would say, I have no complaints, I feel like $1,000,000, I feel like I felt when I was 20, nothing hurts, I'm always energetic. You'd be hard-pressed to find that. We have a health crisis going on, and it's not getting any better. Don't mean to digress here, but I was just talking to a family the other day where the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, put out an announcement. We currently have 1 in every 50 children on the spectrum for autism, 1 in every 35 on military bases, but the CDC said unless we make some dramatic changes, it's going to be 1 in every 2 children by the year 2020. We have a crisis, so it's the right time to be offering change in many aspects. Of course there are other companies popping up. When they see a market, there's going to be a gazillion of them trying to chase that market. You even see it in the grocery stores. As you see, bottled water dominates more space in the grocery store than any other product, and more and more you're seeing alkaline water. You're seeing it. People are starting to get it, so the paradigm shift is taking place. Of course they're going to go up against Enagic, these quote-unquote competitors. They want a piece of that pie. They want what's coming down the pike, and they know that we are the leader, okay? And that's one thing that perhaps if you haven't been in marketing, you may not understand. But when you see people out there, everybody comparing themselves to one product, so you'll see people, the quote-unquote competitors, all comparing themselves to our product. That's because we're the leaders. And so that's always an indicator. You see it in real estate, in the car business, in the computer business, in the phone business. You see it in every business. When they compare themselves against one product, you know that that one product has market share. You know that they're the ones that are taking the lead. So, but they can't, get it if we, when we learn to speak the real value of what we have. They really don't get the whole picture. It's technology that we're looking at. They don't understand the truest, greatest value of what we have unless you talk to those things. So, first thing that I want you to consider: stop arguing things you can't argue. You know, unless you purchase one of every unit on the market and you bust that thing open and you evaluate it and you can show your prospects the difference between what's inside that and what's inside ours, then you can't prove technology. You don't have the ability to do it. You can talk till you turn blue, but they can't see inside of what we have. We know what we have, but they can't see it. So when they're still in that state of confusion, or they're still on that point of, you know, trying to figure out which way to go, perhaps they've gone online, you've got to stop arguing what you can't prove and stick to the things that you can. For every fact you share about the differences, they're going to find lies on the internet that speak contrary, because you see, the competition studies us very well. They know what we say, they know our claims, they know what we have, and so they work against those things. And so that's what you're up against, things that you just can't prove. You know, proof, it truly is in the water itself. There's no doubt about that. And it kind of boggles my mind. I know as a team we've kind of gone this way and that way as we've looked at what other people on the planet are doing. There are some people that have the ability, the talent, the know-how, whatever, to be able to do our business without sharing water. But that's not true for most. The proof, the heavy lifting can be done by the water itself. So unless you have a means of getting on the phone and talking to people and never showing them anything, and some of you do, I'm not disputing that, but unless you do, you better be sharing water, because the water does the heavy lifting, there's no doubt about it. But the real facts, you know, that we have, the facts that weigh one product against the other, for, you know, for instance, the real facts, they can't be argued at all. There's nothing that can be argued. We really have no competition. So you need to talk to the value of our company. So we're going to look at a couple things there. You know, no matter what they do, nobody on the market, no matter how good what they have, they can say they have 110 plates, they're all solid titanium. It doesn't really matter what they say, no matter what they do, nobody on the market can catch up to a proven and a reputable 43-year history. It ain't going to happen. They can't do it. You know, they can't possibly. So that's one thing you need to focus on, is not only that we have the best technology and all the science that you have in, you know, in your arsenal, but you need to be emphasizing the fact that we've been here for 43 years, you know, because I don't care where you come from. You know, making an investment like this, you know, we can say, well, you're not spending more money, you're just, you know, redirecting your spending. We can say all kinds of things, but it's still a significant investment for them, you know. So we need to be sure that they understand that we got 43 years behind us. We're there, we're proven. We're not going to be out of business next year and they can't get a part, or they can't trade it in, or they can't do whatever. We've been here for 43 years, we're proven, we're reputable, and that's something that no matter who comes out with what, they can never, ever catch up with that. So that's one thing we need to add value to. No other company on the market has, or will potentially have, all the certifications that we have. You know, you'll see all kinds of things that we have out there, from, you know, from being, you know, introduced to the Japanese Ministry of Health, you know, all the things that we have, the designations, the certifications, even the manufacturing certifications, you know, the ISOs, where really we're telling people we manufacture everything that we sell. Now, if you've never been in a business that's product driven, you may not understand that's a big deal. You know, we're not a third-party sales company. We manufacture everything that we sell. We do, in fact, it's handmade still, you know, in Japan, hand assembled, I should say. You know, so nobody has that proven record. Nobody has the certifications at this point. It's going to take them a long time to catch up if they stand up in the market. Nobody has that U.S. sales and service to stand behind their products. Now, most people are skipping by that. You know, we say, oh yeah, I've got a 5-year warranty, you send it in. You know, we make it sound real simple, but you know, it's a very big deal that Enagic is the only player still that does not only sells in the U.S., but we service in the U.S. We stand behind our products. We have service centers all over the place. In fact, we absorb a lot of overhead so that we can have service centers all over the place. That is a big deal. When's the last time you spent $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 or whatever, and you didn't care about what happens if something happens to what I bought? You need to know. You know, we have a good example of how we can parallel our businesses. We look out there and see people, for instance, in the car business, and every year there are certain models, maybe it's Ford and a Chevy, whatever, they're going to head Toyota, Honda, head to head. Basically, they have the same car, and they know they basically have the same car. There's a little bit of differences here and there, but what you'll hear them talk about is service. customer service, standing behind a product. What are you going to do? Free oil changes. They're talking to the consumer about service. What's going to happen to this product after I buy it? And that's a big piece of adding value that we're overlooking. We are not really hammering that home. You may not know that with the competition, most of what we're still what we're seeing out there is actually manufactured by one Korean manufacturer. They just make a deal, the third-party sales company in the U.S. cuts a deal with them, put our name on it, and it's really kind of the same unit for a lot of them with their own label on it. I could get a Lynn unit out there. In fact, I went online for quotes from that manufacturer at one point, and it was $258. I could get the top of the line with my name on it, shipped here. Of course, you had to buy in bulk. So, it's a very big deal. But what I'm getting at is this third-party sales company may be real good at twisting the truth and getting the sale, but they can't do one single thing to be able to service that product. That's a very big deal. To ship it back to Korea, I know firsthand, is $600. So, it's real easy to say they have lifetime warranties when nobody's going to exercise it. So nobody has U.S. sales and service. Nobody else, again, is a direct manufacturer of the products. They are all, at least to this point, everybody, that I know of, they're all third-party sales companies. They are not. When you call and talk to one of these, Tyant or Life Ionite, whatever it is, you're not really talking to a manufacturer at all. You're talking to a third-party sales company that stuck their label on an ionizer. And so you need to understand that. So as you're talking to consumers, that's another piece of the value. Nobody else has that long list of satisfied customers. Again, we've got 43 years of history. Our devices were first made for quote-unquote commercial use. They're in hospitals in Japan. They're prescribed by physicians over there. We have an unbelievable list of celebrities and athletes. Nobody can catch up with that, guys. We have a 43-year running head of them. So even if at some point, and I believe it will come, at some point, if somebody really does have exactly what we have, apples to apples and oranges to oranges, they still can never catch up with us. So you cannot afford to not focus on that part of the value. Nobody can catch up, and so that's something to be proud of. It's something to emphasize because, again, you can't prove to them what's inside these units. The best thing I think we all can do is we can all make the assumption that everybody we deal with is going to go online. I don't think it's a good idea to spit out, Kangen water. Just say, oh, go look it up. It's a big bad idea because if they just go search for, Kangen water, they're going to see all kinds of nonsense from hazmat suits to people saying we're poisoning people. It's crazy what they'll find. But, I think it's safe to assume they are going to go online, and knowing they are, you need to direct them. And it's not just directing them to your EWS site, for instance. I think it's a great idea to direct them to Google Scholar, and then they go to electrolyzed reduced water, and when they go there, they're going to see tens of thousands of articles and studies addressing basically what we have, but not by name. So once they look at that and they say they're overwhelmed with all of this proof, if you will, then it's time to talk about, if you see the power of electrolyzed reduced water, don't you want to have the best of the best? So, we've got to be careful with all this stuff. We've got to guide them, but we can never lose sight of the value of what we have. And the value of what we have goes well beyond just having the leading ionizer on the market today. What do consumers want? Yeah, they want the dazzle. We dazzle them with demos, and maybe they drink water. They start experiencing things physically. They want our technology. But they all want a few other things too. They all want to make a smart and safe investment. That's what sends them to the internet. They're looking at saving money. Can I get the same thing for less? I do it every day, and I'm sure you do too. So why would they be any different? They want to make a smart and safe investment. They want to know what's going to happen, again, if anything happens to my investment. What am I supposed to do? And that is why some of this quote-unquote competition will flaunt that lifetime, unlimited, forever to the 10th generation warranty. That's what they're doing. They're meeting the consumer with that need that we rarely even talk about. So we need to hammer that home. They want to know who's going to service it, and what's that process look like, and where does it go, and what does it cost? They want to know. It's so easy again, to pipe out an unlimited lifetime warranty, which, by the way, is nobody on the planet, when they really think through it, could ever believe that could be true. But if they know that most of these people, and all of them to my knowledge, offering that unlimited lifetime warranty, if they know that people have to spend $600 to send it back to the manufacturer, then they know that 99.9% of the people are never going to exercise that warranty at all. So it's kind of a roll of the dice with them. They know that their quote-unquote risk is so small, they don't even have to worry about it. I did hear of one person, for whatever reason known to man, did send a unit back to Korea, and when we were having this conversation, it had been like 6 months. Nobody ever heard anything. They spent $600, sent it back there, and they still didn't know what was going on. So how ridiculous is that? You've got to focus on what consumers want. They want exactly what you want. But, you know, we kind of get on the other side of things, and our belief system about what we have goes up, and we start rattling off, you know, the technology and the plates and the mesh and the solids and all this stuff, you know, but what they really want is exactly what you would want. So you need to address those things. They also want to know they have options. So, you know, one of the things that makes Enagic stand out above and beyond is all the options we have. We don't just have 1 or 2 models. We haven't been in business 1 or 2 years. We have a tremendous amount of options. So you need to be giving them all the options. Now, if you you know, understand what we have, then you should have the ability, even though you share with them everything from our Level Up R up to a Super 501, from basically, you know, $1,400, $1,500 to $6,000, no matter what, you should be able to talk to their needs. It doesn't mean just because you show them everything that they're going to go to the bottom. You've got to have the ability to bring them back up, because one of the things, again, that makes us stand out as a company is all the wide range of options that we have for every single need. That shows our stability, that shows our, you know, time in the market, that shows our interest in serving all the needs. So you got to offer them all the options out there. You've got to give them all the finance options, and all of these things need to be with no regard for your wallet. I mean, I hear it over and over, and you know I can get preachy, and forgive me for that. But, you know, we can't be only talking about, you know, a flagship model because we want to be sure to make the most money. You've got to do for consumers what they need, and they need to see it all, guys. So you can't do any of that with just your own motives. You can't, you know, avoid talking about, for instance, company finance, because you don't get paid into the end. You know, I believe that nothing, you know, you cut me, I'm bleeding conch and water. I believe that I serve a company of integrity, and I don't think they have anything bad. You know, if company finance was horrible and bad for everybody, they wouldn't offer it. They wouldn't offer the Good Samaritan. I don't think they have anything bad. Okay, so obviously you don't jump right in there. You don't offer just a lower model. You don't just offer company financing, but you've got to offer all the options. Why? Because it makes and it reinforces the value of Enagic. We have it all. We have a product for everything. We have a finance option for everything. You know, all of those options that we offer make us stand out above and beyond everybody else. Nobody's there. So you've got to talk to some of the value that I think maybe you're overlooking. So are you adding value? Or are you just focused on what kind of sale and how much money and how fast you can make it? Are you adding the truest value, the long-lasting value, and the value that makes us stand out from the crowd? Are you even offering it at all? I can't answer for you. You know, they want customer service. Again, good customer service is huge to consumers. And again, when you see competition in any marketplace, whether it's, you know, real estate, or it's cars, or it's computers, or it's phone, it doesn't really matter. What they're really going to talk to is how they're going to treat their customers. They want to know that they're going to have customer service. You know, you never lose an opportunity to address that part. And I want to stop there and just say this. You know, we all serve, or most of the people I would say on this call, serve a Japanese company. We live within a Japanese culture. And you might have what you have to say when we have growing pains. You got to stay on hold for 30 minutes. I don't like it either, guys, okay? But sometimes growing pains aren't fun. But, you know, a lot of the things that we send people to, our prospects, if you will, our brand new customers, to sit there and wait online, or we might complain to them, oh, you're going to wait forever, you know, go make a sandwich. Those things you could probably be addressing yourself, you know. So the consumers want to know what's going to happen here. That you should be a living example of the customer service for our company. You know, they want that reinforcement on their decision every time, and you play a big part in that. You know, we're paid very well to do what we do. And what we do is what Mr. Oshiro keeps saying not to do. You know, he says, don't, stop trying to sell water ionizers. But that seems to be what we do. You know, we just go for the kill, we get the sale, we put the paperwork on, we go to the bank, we forget all about those people. But we're paid very well to represent this company from the decision process to the purchase and beyond. That's why we're in the equation in the first place. We are the customer service. We are what they see in terms of Enagic. We are it. We're paid to be it. And so we've got to pick that ball up and run with it sometimes. You know, the ease of the process and the way they're treated along the way is immeasurable. It's that goodwill that always leads to good words. You know, I'm sure you can relate to that. You've gone someplace, somebody did something nice. I've heard people go to a real estate closing table and they bought a house for $600,000-$700,000. It doesn't really even matter what it was. But they got a fruit basket from the realtor that sold them, and they just thought that realtor was the most amazing person on the planet. It's that goodwill that we do. You know, it's the goodwill, the good service that leads to good words and referrals. You know, so are you adding that kind of value? Are you a living, breathing, walking testimonial to the quality and the integrity of our company? And do you consider yourself to be a big part of the customer service equation? Again, that doesn't mean you're not going to take their unit home and fix it. That's not what I'm saying. But you could be a representative. There are a lot of answers you could get for them, but we say, hey, go to the website, go to the internet, go to this. And I'm not talking about being their personal assistant, but when you go outside of your way to be sure that you're treating them with the same level of respect that you treated them, you know, when they were just first getting a drink of water, you know, you're all going to win. We're all going to win. And so are we adding value with that, you know, the customer service side of things? They're not going to get, believe me, there's nobody else on the market that's going to offer anything like that. Ever, you know, so you've got to hammer that home as well. And again, stop trying to sell water ionizers. You know, the words from the mouth of our leader. Isn't it amazing to serve a company, to work with a company, you know, billions of dollars being sold in technology, and the founder, our leader, says stop trying to sell water ionizers. And I think part of what he's saying is, you know, that's not what we sell at all. We sell a changed life. We sell an experience. We sell a difference physically, financially, spiritually, with your mental health, whatever. We don't sell water ionizers. So you see, it all kind of comes full circle. When you sit there with the science, you talk about the plates, you hammer that home till people can't see straight, you're losing sight of the very things we stand for. And so we've got to add that value. You can't get there, you know, and if you continue to focus on all those things that, frankly, most people will never understand. They'll glaze over. You'll give them enough just to go to the internet, and then you'll lose a sale most of the time anyway when you keep that focus. You know, we need to find those needs, fill those needs, and add the true value of what we have. And the true value is so far beyond a water ionizer. And so you've got to understand that to be able to share that. Stop trying to sell water ionizers and stop loving them and leaving them. Again, each person has value for your business. You know, not everybody wants to do our business. Most people don't want to do our business. But you know what I see over and over is people, you know, get involved with somebody. They hope that they're going to get on board and make them $1 million by being part of our business, but they don't. They buy the technology, and you know what we do? We dump them. We just walk away because they're not joining the business. That is so wrong. You know, getting referrals for business is imperative. Again, I'm sorry I talk real estate a lot, but 18 years in that, it's hard for me not to. But, you know, in that business, a good, solid, successful realtor does not go to closing, give a fruit basket, and then never reach out to those people again, because, you see, they know that on the average it's going to be about 7 years. It might have changed now, by the way, but it used to be 7 years. Those people were going to be moving on, and they were hoping to be chosen as the realtor. And by staying in touch with people, you know, just by living life with them and being sure we reach out and prompt them toward referrals. Most people don't think like that, guys. They don't think like it. They don't think our business. They don't consider, well, hell yeah, maybe Susie could use it. They don't think like that. You have to help them think like that. So you have to stay with them above and beyond that sale. Stop loving them and leaving them, because it's you that's getting hurt. You know, you won't get them unless you stay in touch with them. You won't get those referrals unless you stay in touch with them. And again, we are all paid very well to care about other people. I don't think for a second, you know, we know, for instance, this is always a sore subject, but hey, every device comes with a manual, comes with a CD, a DVD. We all know that we could have read the manual from front to back, but most people don't. We know that, okay? And so isn't it the right thing to do to reach out and to remind them to clean it? You know, it should be about time for you to clean your unit. Can I send you a video and show you? And so, you want to take care of this. This was a big investment for you. The more they continue to see you care beyond that cashing of the check, the more inclined you're going to get more business from them in the future. And it's also a time, if you stay in touch with them, it's easy to introduce other products. As they move forward, you can talk to them and just say, hey, by the way, have I spoken to you about our Ucomb product? It is the most amazing product, and I would like to share some with you. It's easier to revisit if you don't love them and leave them. But you know what? If you look around yourself and you look around people in your team, you look around your world, that's exactly what you're going to see, that we love them and we leave them. So stop loving them and leaving them. And stop only caring if they're going to join the business. There's somebody said, this is not my tagline, and it's a little bit crude, but I do like it, and that is, they say that duds lead to studs. So you might have somebody in the business and you say, oh man, they're never going to do the business, but you don't know who they know, and you don't know how many people they might tell about what you have if you lead them in that direction. So you know what? Stop caring more about yourself than you do the other people. Stop caring about the bank and stop caring about whether or not they join the business, and just keep moving forward. You have value too. Start using it. Start emphasizing what you bring to the table, because folks, you're not an ionizer salesperson. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. If that's what you're doing, you're probably going to see very limited success, because it's well above that. It's understanding what we have. It's understanding the value. It's learning how to talk to the value over and over and over. So again, we say all the time, last week I think we said this, that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So it's when we address what we know is important to consumers that they understand that we care about them. It's not just the front end interviewing, what do you do? Do you like your job? How's your family? It's not that just that personal side, but it's actually addressing what we know is important to them. You would want the same thing. Talk to all the things that are important to them and stand behind our company, because nobody is where we are. And even again, when the day comes that somebody does introduce a product to the market that is truly apples to apples and oranges to oranges, guess what, folks? Their price is going to be about the same, okay? There's no way around that. So stand behind the company and understand that we're 43 years ahead of everybody else. Stop trying to be a design engineer and a technology expert. I'm not saying we don't need to understand that stuff, but that's not what you're selling. So why are you spending so much time on all this competition and all this stuff that's just confusion out there? Why are you doing that when that's not what we sell in the first place? You need to add the true value. You need to add those things that make us stand out above and beyond what anybody else has and probably can never catch up to unless they learn how to go through a time warp. We're paid well to do what we do. And we're paid well to do what we're supposed to be doing. And what we're supposed to be doing is being a living representation of all that Enagic has to offer, all those things that set us above and beyond any other company, any other ionizer. We still have the leading product. We have the Rolls Royce of the line, and we're probably going to have that lead in terms of technology for a very long time. But the other things, the truest value, the biggest value, and nothing anybody can do to catch up with that. And so, we need to be adding the true value. So are you doing that? Or are you just looking at your own business and your own gain and whether you'll make a sale and whether it'll be a 501 and, what are we doing with all that and what's good for you and how much money can you make? Or are you really adding? Do you understand the true value of what you have to represent not just the leader in our industry, not just a superior product on the market, but also all those things that consumers want so much. They want options and customer service. They want sales and service in the U.S. They want these things, guys. So unless you talk to them, you're limiting your ability to grow your own business. So that's it for me in terms of adding value and what are you selling. So it would be time now for me to, open it up and see what you guys, if you have any questions, any comments on adding value for your business. Again, you have a little, you have a screen to the right side of your panel there. If you want to raise your hand, I will unmute the lines and put you on the line and let you talk to, ask your question or talk to the topic here. Anybody out there, raise your hand. We always have the early bird here. We have Pam Kamensky. I've just opened your line, Pam. You should be live.
Good morning, Lynn, and everybody.
Morning.
I signed in late. I apologize. I'll have to listen to the recording. But what I have caught is such a great reminder on how you go about doing the water share and following up with the customer you are dealing with. It is so, so very important, and that's the best way to make someone understand that, and having the live demo right in front of them
Mm-hmm.
to see it.
That's right.
It's perfect. This is great, Lynn. Thank you.
You're welcome, Pam. Thank you. And that's so true. You know, it's another side of what we see. We see over and over. And listen, I don't like being a camel. Oh my goodness. When I got into the business, I made so many mistakes. I didn't understand how long to give them water, and you know, when does this ever stop? I mean, I gave water to people for a year, for heaven's sake. It was crazy. But you know, every step of the way, there's no business that's an easy business. We have to work for it. But, you know, people are saying, well, I'll give them, you know, 100 gallons of water, and then I only have to deal with them once. You don't understand the value of the water share. First of all, you know, unless you're willing to give water at the, you know, the frequency every other day or whatever that we're supposed to, you make us look like liars. Like the electrical charge means nothing. We know that it diminishes over time. But if you're too, you know, self-centered or whatever the problem is, to share it at the frequency you need to reinforce that message, you probably shouldn't be sharing water at all. You know, and we miss the side of that water share that's intended to be able to touch that. You know, if you've never been in sales until now, you may not understand. You always have a reason. You need a reason to reach back out to people, right? And so many of us run from that because it's like, oh crap, what are they going to think? They're going to think I'm trying to sell them. You know, we get afraid that we're going to appear to be pushy, but there's nothing pushy about sharing water. See, you're doing a kind thing, a compassionate thing, and it's through that compassionate deed, if you will, that you have an opportunity to work toward closure in the whole process. So, you know, if you're inclined to get 100 gallons of water and dump it at their doorstep and talk to them next month, you're doing it wrong. You know, there's a purpose in the water share, a big one, and not the least of which is that you have an opportunity every other day to try to bring closure to this, regardless of how long you share. A week, 2 weeks, doesn't matter. Every other day you have an opportunity to see, is this person going to embrace what we have or not? And you need to see that pretty soon, right? And so thank you for that. I'm glad you are so willing to keep your antenna up, Pam, and to learn, and I always appreciate your input. And I see Terry's hand raised here, so Terry, you're live. How you doing?
Good morning, Lynn, and another great session.
Thank you.
I've always said your product can always be duplicated.
Yes.
It's your customer service that cannot be duplicated.
Amen. What a great way to put it. It's so true. It's so true.
Very good session.
Thank you so much, Terry. You're always so encouraging. Thank you for that. And that's so true. What a great way to put it. And that really summarizes the entire call. You know, again, what we have, guys, nobody else has. You know, the customer service side of it, the people side of it. You know, they don't have our technology, that's true, but like Terry said, it can always be duplicated. At some point, it probably will be, because we're taking the market by a storm. But rest assured, whether you use a team like ours, you know, where we get compensated through the process, or you merchandise it and somehow put it on the shelves at Costco, price is going to be the same. So the company avoids all that advertising and merchandising and distribution and packaging, all those things it takes it's required to the product to market and put it on a shelf. Instead of spending the money there, they're spending it on us. So even when that day comes and our product is duplicated, price is going to be the same. So, you know, put that in your arsenal as you might be hearing that. Of course, that is out online where people say, well, it's only expensive because you got to pay all these losers. Well, that's so not true. People that don't understand marketing and merchandising. Anybody else out there that would like to raise their hand, comment, question before we conclude the call? Anybody there? Got such a quiet bunch this morning. Okay, that looks like it. I'm not going to, you know, delay waiting for questions or comments. It may never come, so I hope you did get some value out of this for your business, and I hope you really will consider what adding value looks like. Get off the technology train. I mean, yeah, we're supposed to understand that, to talk to it, but every hour you spend on that is an hour that you're not spending blessing somebody and outing the truest value of what we have, which is, all the wonderful people that we have in our industry, an amazing leader, an amazing company of integrity, a fine product. The list goes on and on. Start talking to the things that consumers want to hear, the things that you need to hear. You need to know about what happens with my product, what's going to happen in my future. How safe is this investment? Talk to the value of everything we have, and you can see amazing change in your business. So on that note, see you guys at the top. I'll see you next week, and thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you were blessed by the call. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.